Before I dive in, I want to echo Art Zaley, our CEO's sentiment of thanking the folks that put this event on. 4 years ago, Lindy Kaiser came up with this vision of launching ClearanceJobs Connect in Reston, Virginia. And it started in a room about this size. And in 2024, I think we had over 400 attendees at that event. And then she got the bold idea. She said, I'm going to go out and do it in California in the spring. And she launched it. And 14 years Lindy has been with ClearanceJobs and has become, 14 years last Friday, and has become the face of our organization. Thank you so much, Lindy, for all you do. And I'd also like to thank Lindy's team and the other team members that are here today. Jill Hamilton, I think, was in the back. There she is. Jill, thank you so much. Phoebe Wells, who just pep talked me before I came up. Thank you, Phoebe. Katie Helbling, which was right here. I don't know where Katie went now. She's in the back. She exited the room. And then I'd like to also thank Eric Pekanofsky, our head of marketing, and his team, specifically Amanda Hawk, for putting together all of the graphics and the presentation. And lastly, I'd like to thank Asia Wire and Danielle Pincus for their efforts in this amazing career event that we held last night with nearly just under 200 candidates attended that event last night. And I also want to give a shout out, speaking of that, to Torian Williams. Torian, raise your hand. Okay, Torian missed the career event last night, but showed up today. Torian has a secret clearance. He's an intelligence analyst. And for all the recruiters in the room, give Torian a shout when you have an opportunity. So before I get started, first off, thank you all for being here, and thank you to our speakers. This is a really important component of our future, Connect. It is going to be part of our vision and our mission, and I'll get into talking to you about that. But when we think about ClearanceJobs, this business started 23 years ago in 2002. Has anyone been using ClearanceJobs at least 20 years in this room? Yeah, Tommy, I figured you had. So, we went from this job board, which maybe was a glorified Craigslist. Tommy, what did it look like? Something like that, yeah. And then in the 2010s and kind of the teens, we went into this marketplace where we started as this job board, and it was kind of one way. It was candidates applying, and so it was a lead generation tool. And in 2010, or call it 2013, 14 maybe, we shifted into a marketplace where there was this two-way communication. Recruiters could access profiles and try to engage the candidate. And then a couple years ago, we really made this shift to looking at community, of how do we continue to engage and be a destination for not only the recruiters, but also for candidates to interact and move forward. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, of kind of where we go. But before I do that, I think we need to address kind of what the future, or what the current state and present is. And we're on the Doge Express, right? This is where we are right now, which was perfect timing for my start in this role, by the way. I really enjoy the Doge Express so far. And if you're in federal contracting, you already know that uncertainty comes with the territory. First off, you're facing every year incredible dynamics around supply and demand. Like, this is not changed. It's been that way for a long time. But when you throw in Doge and kind of the uncertainty that we're dealing with there, this complicates matters. And we've had some great speakers. Director Cattler just spoke kind of about how it's impacting his organization and agency and what they're looking at. Art Zaley talked earlier about, some of the things you're seeing. Colonel Chris Saling talked about AI and the things that are going to happen, and we've got to get more intelligent and efficient and all those things. This isn't the first time this community has dealt with this kind of uncertainty. In 2013, what happened? Who was around then? Yeah, government sequestration, right? The difference was that's a broad brush, kind of blunt instrument approach. It was at least predictable. I think it was $1.2 trillion in 2013 that was applied across the federal government, defense, non-defense programs. The Department of Defense, I think, cut $33 billion that year. So at least we knew kind of what to expect. Today, we don't. We're seeing headlines every day. Okay, last Friday, 80,000 from the VA are being cut. And is that happening? I don't know. Is it going to be less? Is it going to be more? You just don't know. And so in this period of change and kind of uncertainty, we have to look at that as an organization that has a responsibility to this community to try to adapt and overcome and see how we handle this. So we actually held a survey a few weeks ago. Let's call this maybe 4 weeks ago, Jill, is that? Yeah, 4. And this provided some insight into our customers and into our candidates. And the first is, what I found really interesting is 70% of our customers surveyed said that they have steady or increasing hiring needs. And this is 4 or 5 weeks after DOGE launched. And this was verified and validated for me last night as I was talking to some of you at the reception. Kelly Douglas, I'm not sure where she is, but she mentioned this to me last night. Yeah, we're steady. Our hiring needs are steady. I think there's uncertainty around future contracts, but today's contracts I'm feeling okay with. And but it's interesting because this is steady. There's not a ton of what you'd say that the candidate is being affected, but Art shared with you 51%, I believe, of tech candidates are actively looking. Well, this is staggering. Even though candidates are experiencing job security, they're unaffected, but they're experiencing insecurity. 81% of the candidates on ClearanceJobs surveyed are looking for a job. 8 out of 10. This is crazy. So now, when I wake up at 4 in the morning and I shoot up in bed and I see a statistic like this, I think, oh my gosh, are they leaving the industry? How's this going to impact us? Well, what we're seeing is that they're not leaving the industry. They're just looking for other jobs in this industry. So year to date, we've seen job views increase 30% year over year. Year to date, we've seen applies increase 11% year over year. And last year was a record year for us because we launched our mobile app, which provided a more convenient and efficient way for our candidates to interact with jobs. So we saw a record year. We were anticipating a stabilization and leveling off of this, not what we're seeing right now. So let me plug ClearanceJobs real quick. If you don't have jobs on there and you don't have an employer profile, you need to get that up right now because these candidates are looking for their next opportunity. So we continue to grow. Not only is it our jobs and applications that we're seeing growth, but we're seeing 25% year over year increase on our news site. We've seen over 1.2 million monthly unique visitors last month on ClearanceJobs.com on the news site. So this, and searchable profiles, by the way, let me come back to that. The monthly unique visitors, 1.2 million, they are coming to us, as Lindy kind of joked with David Cattler about, they're the second best place for information to ClearanceJobs. They're coming to us because they trust the information that we're providing to them. Searchable profiles, we've seen a nearly 7x increase year over year of candidates taking their profile from unsearchable, which usually happens when they get a job. They kind of take it off. They don't want to be contacted anymore. A 7x increase this year in candidates moving their profile to searchable. I mean, this is staggering what we're seeing in the market. So it's really interesting, and candidates are entering the market. Logins is another record, 225,000 so far this year. And I just mentioned employer profile. If you don't have one on ClearanceJobs, you need to get one. We're seeing 90,000 so far, 90,000 views so far this year on the candidate employer profiles. So I wanted to share that with you because this really dictates how we look at our mission and our vision moving forward. And when I took this role on in January, we sat down as a leadership team in an organization and said, hey, what is our mission today? We are a mission-driven organization. What is our mission today? What are the pillars of that mission? And at ClearanceJobs, we believe we empower, and our mission is to empower national security. And that is not only the community, but that is the people and organizations in the community that safeguard our nation. That's our current state. That's who we are today. That's really three pillars. You've got the core technology platform of ClearanceJobs.com, where you as recruiters are able to interact with security cleared candidates in a secure and trusted platform. So this being our first pillar is where we're going to continue to fortify and strengthen our position. We're going to continue to add value to that platform. We're going to continue to drive candidates to come to our platform to provide you a single destination for where you can find these highly skilled and credentialed people and connect them to the programs that protect this country. Next is knowledge. I shared with you that we saw 25% year-over-year increase in our news site visitors. This is a really important component to our mission. And it's really evolved over time. Again, we started as a job board, then a marketplace, and all of a sudden we've become kind of this provider of content and news. And some of it is incredibly funny for those of you who join, and some of it is just great news that you can trust and your candidates can trust. So we're going to continue to strengthen there as part of our core mission. And then policy engagement. This is something really exciting for us. And this is another brainchild of Lindy and her team of coming up and saying, how do we get more involved in this community? We're in a unique position at ClearanceJobs of having a brand that actually represents a community of people. And so we're going to advocate for a resilient, well-supported national security workforce, ensuring it remains prepared. Because as all of you know, we've got these supply and demand issues that are really daunting. How do we continue to drive policy forward to gain velocity in getting people cleared? How do we have a reserve of cleared candidates that can take on projects that need to be done quickly? So this is really where we're going. We don't want to just be a part of the process. We want to empower it. And so many of you probably know in January 2025, we launched the first ever that I'm aware of Security Clearance Policy Advisory Board. This is a really unique opportunity for us to take a leadership position in the community to help drive forward the things that we're hearing from you. These are my pain points. This is where I need help. This gives us an opportunity, and you want to talk about an all-star cast. Many of you, if you've been in Reston or you've seen videos or you watch our content, you're going to see these folks. The Honorable William Evanina, the Honorable Ellen McCarthy, Jamie Jones-Miller, who I was blessed to have dinner with last night, who is the CEO and Dean of Northeastern University's Arlington campus, where they're really focused around this industry. You've got Charlie Phelan, who I know is here, but I missed him. I think he may be outside. Oh, there he is, Charlie. Say hi, Charlie, who is the former, as David Cattler just mentioned, the former acting director of DCSA. And finally, you've got Vice Admiral Bob Sharp, U.S. Navy retired, who also has spoken at our events in the past. I mean, this is an all-star heavy hitter cast where we had meaningful discussions last night about how do we continue to provide solutions to this community, to the problems that we're facing. So that's our present. That brings me to the future and what you can expect from ClearanceJobs moving forward. And we've coined this expand the mission. This is kind of our internal language around what we're trying to accomplish at ClearanceJobs. expand the mission. So not only clearance jobs, but we've added and our properties. We believe that we're in a unique position to leverage our current technology platform and expand to other areas of need within the industry. And so clearance jobs and our properties will be the definitive destination for professionals and organizations that not only protect this nation, but also support it. And we're going to do it in a trusted, recognized, and indispensable way. So again, there's really three pillars here. What are we going to do? We're going to continue to strengthen and fortify our core clearance jobs platform. You have my commitment on that. We are going to continue to fortify ourselves and establish ourselves as the leading voice for not just the cleared industry, but for all of government work. We're going to deliver thought leadership that informs, guides, and empowers. And finally, we're going to deliver and drive innovation and responsible growth to meet the needs and the rapidly evolving right now, needs of both of these communities, our stakeholders and the broader federal government. So graphically, what does that kind of look like? And I'm going to share with you really some of these things are happening right now, and some of them are going to be happening in the future. So two of these things that are starting right now is we've just launched a property. I'd urge you all to join. There's not a lot of population in this property right now, but it's called fedwork.net, Fedwork Network, fedwork.net. It's powered by ClearanceJobs. And this is going to be a location that is not just focused on national security, intelligence, defense. It's going to be a property that is designed for the greater government workforce, for contractors, for people that are impacted by this workforce. This gives us an opportunity to fulfill that vision of supporting the greater community. Second, we're launching a digital publication, which should be coming out here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Our initial, the first issue won't, but we've got a mock-up coming out that will be basically at work will kind of be the theme of this magazine. Our first will be NatSec at work, and this is not just for talent acquisition alone, but it is around focusing on end-to-end career and all the things in between of working in national security, what to expect, what are the challenges you may be facing. As you can imagine, there may be many right now. So these are two of the things that are happening today, where we're expanding the mission of what we do while strengthening and fortifying what we have always done. Finally, where our areas of focus are really going to be is transitioning military personnel. I think this is Lindy and her team last year were able to get an application approved for the TAP program for transitioning military personnel, where we can help these people. Now, the only way we can do that is by an expansion. Like we've talked about, it can't just be cleared because some of those people are not looking to go into cleared work, but we want to be able to help this entire group. We're going to focus on military and veteran hiring initiatives. We're going to focus on government contracting and non-cleared work, and we're going to be looking at B2B solutions for national security. And one of those is really around business development, because we get asked quite a bit from customers outside of recruitment and talent acquisition about, can we use your platform for business development, for writing proposals, for doing all those things? Can you provide us insight? Can you provide us data to help us capture and gain contracts? So we're really looking at that. And as I said, some of those are in the weeks and months to come, and some of these are in the years to come. Another area we're expanding into is providing some low-level staffing solutions. So, we've got direct hire, contract placement, RPO, veteran hiring programs. We're going to really look at industries like defense and aerospace, intelligence and cybersecurity, homeland security, law enforcement, government contracting, federal agencies. Whether you just need leads that we can source for you, or whether you need help filling a role, we can help. And finally, ClearanceJobs and AI. There's been a lot of conversation around AI. today, so I'm certainly not going to spend a ton of time on that. But ClearanceJobs has really been using Colonel Chris Saling's comments earlier today around, we've been using AI. Alexa, we've been using AI for a long time. It's not scary, some of these things. Well, ClearanceJobs has been using machine learning in the infancy of AI for a long time. For those of you who have used us for a while, we introduced IntelliSearch back in, I think, 2015, 2016. This is a machine learning program. It is kind of the infancy of AI and where we're going. And what we're going to be doing is really exploring AI-driven capabilities to enhance the core platform, as well as deliver greater value to you as customers, giving you better insight. We're going to focus on real-time data-driven insights and dashboards. We have a customer advisory board that meets once a quarter, and this is a group that continuously tells us this is what we need. So we're trying to figure out how do we use AI to provide these kind of insights. We're going to provide insights on hiring trends. We're going to provide insights on benchmarking. This is another question we get asked constantly from customers is, how am I doing compared to these other businesses that I'm competing against? What's that look like? Competitive intelligence for you to, maybe that's in writing job offers, maybe that's in figuring out how to get that finite pool of talent in your area for that one project that you're competing with multiple people on. We're going to do predictive and hiring workforce planning. And lastly, we're really going to start looking at career insights for the candidate. Not only adding value to you as the customer, but adding value to our candidates. How do we become that really end-to-end resource for their entire career? So finally, I'll say this. Hop on and let us help you enjoy the ride. Within unpredictability comes opportunities for those who can pivot quickly, those who stay ahead of regulatory changes, invest in emerging technologies, and build strong relationships with government stakeholders will be in the best position to succeed. We've heard that over and over from every speaker so far. Agility is the name of the game. At ClearanceJobs, we will be ready. I promise you that. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
I think he has time for one question. No? Or do you not want one question? No? One? Could have given him Art's question. Sorry, Art. Sorry.
Art, would you like to take my question?
To Art.